All right, this is another episode of Spade Talk. I'm with my boy Isiah. How you doing, bro?
I'm blessed, man. I can't complain.
That's great. So, first question.
First,
What was the hardest challenge you faced this year?
the hardest challenge that I faced this year. Okay, we starting off with a bang, just like that.
Absolutely.
The hardest question or the hardest challenge that I faced this year. Actually, I think that's all thought. Oh, actually, I don't. So if I was to say, let's not say January till now. Let's say, since we're now in July, so July to July. From this time, I would probably have to say, actually, I would guarantee it. My ACL surgery, my knee. That was one of the craziest experiences that I've ever had. Just having to go through that, being a soccer player all my life, and you can already relate. We had I just felt like I was on top of the world. I wouldn't think anything about it. I've had minor injuries here and there, but I've never had anything where it was debilitating. And not only debilitating, where it carried on to the other parts of my life, right?
How's that happen?
It was soccer. So I went for a 50-50. It was indoor. So it was like turf, like the fake grass. It was 50-50. I went in with somebody, went shoulder to shoulder. The ball went forward. So I went and I leaped forward. I put my foot down, left foot down first. And I guess the second guy came in and hit me. And because all my weight was directed onto the one left foot or my left leg, it knocked me out of balance. So my knee went one way and my body was still like in its neutral position. So it just went one. I heard snap, grapple, pop, and I enveloped. I was like, okay, my knee is dislocated. I genuinely thought my knee looked like this. I didn't look down. I was just like, it's done. They're going to have to reconnect it, put it in like this. And then, so I ended up finding out it was an ACL surgery, or that it was an ACL tear, complete tear. They were like, you need surgery. There's nothing around it. The ACL doesn't heal itself. So you need to do surgery in order to do it, right? So having to go through that, not being able to play soccer, not being able to run, sprint.
How is it right now?
Right now, I've been doing a lot of rehab, so thankfully it's been blessed. But it's not the same. At least right now, it's not the same. I think it'll take like a good year. I've just started recently playing soccer, just with, one or two people, nothing like against a team or competitive at all, but just to get my touches back in, to refamiliarize myself with it. Yeah.
So, obviously, and that took a toll on you physically. And you're an active guy, there's sport, your passion.
Mm-hmm.
What type of mental toll did it take on you, though?
It was a big one too. I really had to come to terms with the fact that this needed time. I had to be patient with the body. As a kid and growing up, you think you're like I said earlier, you're on cloud nine, like you're superior. Your body just bounces back. It's elastic, and you know what? To a good extent, it does. But once you start aging, you start hitting your 20s and your 30s, right? You realize that the body needs a little bit more time.
I will feel that.
So that mental being like, you need to chill, you need to stay home, you cannot run, you cannot go to the gym. I was really stuck in solitude by myself. It was a blessing in disguise too, because around that same time, I had just gotten out of a serious relationship. So I was forced to, one, deal with pain, reteaching myself how to walk. I literally couldn't even straighten my leg and raise it. Like, that was the hardest thing for me to do. It took 2 weeks for me to learn how to do it again. And then I have to deal with a breakup at the same time. So
when it rains, it pours incremented.
but I mean, it's never just that one thing. It's like, you're dealing with this. How about a little bit of this? How about a little bit of this?
Usually all the bad comes one after the other at the same time. And same thing with the wind. Our stakes at momentum just sway.
Yeah, exactly.
Either way.
Facts.
Yeah. So you've been in fitness for quite a while now.
Yep.
Right? Trainer, coach. How'd you get started in this industry?
What's funny? I don't really know. It was out of spontaneity. I've been training for the last, I'd say 7-8 years myself, I always had like a little bit of a passion for it the first few years. And then as I progressed, I really started getting into it and I started seeing my own results. And I was like, this is nice. I kept it consistent. I tried every job, left, right, and center. I did Uber Eats. I did sales. I worked HVAC sales. I did software sales. I did a whole bunch of different jobs. But the only thing that stayed consistent, I did school. The only thing that stayed consistent was training. So I was like, let me see if I can try this. So after COVID, I kind of got like an urge to do it. I always work it out with my friends. I put them on, they put me on, and I was like, let's make it a career.
Because this was after COVID.
Yeah, this is after COVID. This was the last 2 years, I'd say, as like a professional trainer. Yeah.
That's cool. So what do most people get wrong about fitness and their approach to it?
I feel like people have this, just like in most things, like that immediate gratification, where they're just like, they see everybody looking the way they want to look. And they just assume that if they just go to the gym willy-nilly, as long as I walk in there and scan my key card, I'll get my results. But that's not the fact of the matter, right? You need to make sure that you're, based on your level of, training and your skill, what you should be doing, the exercises that you should be doing, your frequency, your intensity, and most importantly, is your consistency. You know what I mean? So people don't really have that understanding. And I think that's what it would be.
Yeah, one mentor a long time ago told me that the worst thing in the world is a consistent person that doesn't get results. So we hear all the time showing up is, 80% of success. Showing up is a win. And although there is truth to that, you see a lot of people going to the gym consistently for months and years, and they're not really getting the results. Their body isn't really changing, their energy. Why is that?
They're not doing the right things. They don't know what they're doing. That's the fact of the matter. They come in, and it's funny because, again, like, I'm obviously working at a gym, right? I've been working out of a Good Life for the last year and a half. And I see members all the time. I've been seeing them since I started. I've been seeing them now. They come consistently. They look the exact same. And I'll have those conversations with my clients. And I have clients who have been training for the last year and a half who also see those members. And they're like, why do they still look the same?
So if that's the, kind of description of a person that's going to the gym now, they're not really seeing the results, but they've been like really showing up.
Okay.
Right? They go a couple times a week, right? Every week. What are some things they can change right now to add to their workouts, to take away whenever, that they can implement right away and it will shift them in the right direction?
Proper programming. So taking the actual time to sit down with yourself, coming to terms with, maybe some SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely. Figuring out your SMART goals relevant to your program and upping your intensity. I feel like a lot of people go into the gym and they don't know that they can push themselves. You know what I mean? They hit that like initial fatigue. Let's say you're doing like a chest press. You're like, okay, that felt like tight. That felt hard. Good. No. It's like, that felt hard. Okay, now you start. Absolutely. It's like that. Let's say 12 to 15 rep range, right? If you're hitting that 12 and you're like, I hit 12, like that's my number, but you can still give a couple more. That's where you really want to start pushing yourself. That's where you really want to, see what you can do and see what you're capable of, almost to that failure rate, right?
Yeah, Muhammad Ali used to say he doesn't count his reps until it starts to hurt.
Okay, there you go.
And then that's when he starts counting. So it's that same concept of intensity, right? You want to go to either failure or near failure, right?
I'd say so, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Really where you start pushing the muscles. That's really where you start, tearing the muscles, and then they repair, tear and repair. And that's how you start getting that progress. And that's where you start seeing, the definition start building and the size start increasing. And then you're smiling at yourself in the gym and the mirrors, you know what I mean? But until you start doing that and until you start realizing that, you're going to be stagnant in the gym.
Yeah, because a lot of people will say 80-20 nutrition training.
I'm an advocate. I do that.
Yeah. And there's, again, so much truth to that, right? Because your nutrition, what you consume, is going to dictate like how you look. But I think that 20% doesn't get the emphasis that it needs, right? Like, because you need to send the right type of stimulus, right, to the muscle in order for it to grow. Because somebody can get their nutrition right, but their body composition will still not be where they want them to be. So training-wise, right, that, I think we need to highlight a little bit more on, what intensity really looks like. So you get a client in,
okay,
right? You're walking them through some SMART goals.
Sure.
Give me an example of breaking that down, that conversation with them.
Yeah, okay, sure. So if we're breaking down a SMART goal, I'd sit down with my client and I'm going to ask them, okay, let's talk about your goals. What are the main things? Give me your top 3 things that you want to do. So usually for guys, I'd be, I want to look like you, jokingly. You know what I mean? They'll say they want to put on muscle. I'll say, okay, like, let's be specific now, like whereabouts, you know what I mean? Is there directed areas? I want my big arms, you know, I want my shoulders to be broad. I want my chest to pop out. Okay, noted, right? Now, then you start breaking it down further, you know, measurable being like, how many, you know, how big do you want to get? You know, show me a picture of a celebrity or show me a picture of somebody who you want to look like, right? So we have that idea, we have that focus to kind of go towards, right? So you know that you want to work this long to get these results, right? It's all different with everybody. Obviously, then come down to attainable. You have to be realistic with yourself, attainable, realistic. And then within the time as well, being like, okay, you're going to need like at least 12 months. You know, you're brand new, you're fresh to the gym, like 6 to 12 months until you really start smiling at yourself. You know what I mean? Again, it's different. You know, there's always the beginner gains and whatnot, but generally speaking, you need to be in the gym with a proper plan. So yeah, that's what I do.
So what if somebody is, you know, said as well, I have a wedding, right? That's coming up in 3 months, 6 months. I'm sure you have like, you know, you've gone clients like that, right? You know, mostly women, right? That will probably be on that. So can they really get that, their goal before, you know, within that time period, really?
You know what? It depends on the goal.
Yeah.
If it's like a fat loss goal and just a weight loss in general, and they really want to just start seeing themselves slim down, they really want to get into like, you know, fit that dress and whatnot, you can definitely see results in the 3 months. It would just take that much more discipline on the person. It would take that much more consistency. You would have to be dialed in when it comes to nutrition, food, everything you're eating and digesting. And the intensity just got to be up there. You know what I mean? And you can go from and the intensity just got to be up there. You know what I mean? And you can go from training, you know, a typical 3 times a week, right? The 3 times a week, I would say, is like the bare minimum. You do 3 times a week, figure out a nice full body workout, stay consistent like that. But if you're like, I want these goals ASAP, not a word. You know what I mean? I'm going to see you 5 times. You're going to do 3 times workouts with me. You're going to do 2 times a week cardio on your own. You're going to stay consistent. This is your meal plan. This is the nutrition. That's how you're going to get your goals in the time that you want. And you're not going to do anything. You're going to shut up and you're going to listen. And as long as you do that, you drink your water, you're good. You know what I mean? Stay hydrated, you know? Absolutely. You can get it. It's possible. So it depends on the goal. But yes.
Sid, you actually did a talk on one of our mentorship groups last year.
Yes, I remember. Right? That was so cool.
Yes, so teaching us, and there was a lot of invaluable information there. So we appreciate, you know, you always doing that for, you know, the guys that were on there.
Big 10.
One thing that you spoke about were body types.
Okay, yeah.
So what are these body types in fitness and how important are they?
Okay, cool. First, I got to say thank you for bringing me on there. That was so cool just to have like a bunch of people who want to jump on a call on a weekly basis and just better themselves, nourish their minds. It's like, it's a no-brainer, you know what I mean? You think more people would get on it, but you know, you had a nice niche group of people. And yeah, I got to say thanks for bringing me on there as a host. But body types. So we have the ectomorph, the mesomorph, and the endomorph. The ectomorph is somebody on the leaner side. So you're a little bit skinnier. You've got like a leaner build. There's the mesomorph, which is right in the middle, that middle body, you know, average, typical in general, average Joe, you'd say. And then the endomorph, where it's generally a bigger bone, some person that they would say, you know. Those are the 3 different types. And then depending on what body type you would find yourself in or where you kind of categorize yourself, there's different pros and cons and things that you can do and things that you should do to see your results more efficiently and effectively.
So for an endomorph, sure, right? Somebody that's more thick bone, right? Bigger type of a build. They usually are harder to lose the weight. So again, they might go to the gym, right, and still not see the results that they want. What would you put an endomorph program for the maximal result?
Okay, so an endomorph, for saying somebody bigger, how would they optimize in programming?
Yes.
I would say the addition of cardiovascular training, so cardio training, making sure that they're doing 2 to 3 times a week of cardio training. I like either low intensity, steady state cardio. So that's like jumping on the treadmill for like 30, 40 minutes, doing an assault bike for 10, 20 minutes, you know what I mean? Staying at a steady heart rate consistently for X amount of time, or doing high intensity interval training, whereas something like sprints or suicides or pyramids, whatever you want to call it, doing something like that, or interval running, all that stuff is great. I would definitely say adding on to that, obviously with reason, you know what I mean? If you're a really big person, you don't want to be going too crazy on some sprints or running on the treadmill, because that might not be good for your joints. You know, we don't want injury. Injury is the number one thing that you got to be conscious of, because if you get injured, there's no results, because guess what? You're back on the bench. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would say probably adding in some low intensity steady state or high intensity interval training.
And what about the resistance training?
The resistance.
What rep ranges, what intensity, what are we looking?
So I would like to say, generally speaking, for an endomorph, for a bigger person, you definitely want to keep the rep range up there, right? You want to do things like supersets. You want to do things like drop sets, because that not only is strength building, you know, it's not only muscle building, but it also adds that cardio-based training in it, right? That's like a win-win. I love supersets. I love drop sets, because you get that cardio training. You know, you hit your 10 and it's like, nice, now let's do a drop set. Okay. It's good. Go ahead. Yeah. Was it not?
It was not. I think this wasn't, but it's fine. Just it's okay. We have the audio from the other thing. You just do call us. Yeah. No. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or was I lost that train of thought? No.
Yeah. So if you like supersets, drop sets, resistance training, makes that, you know, endurance aspect to it.
Exactly. So adding that cardio-based training into resistance training, I think, is like optimizing, especially for an endomorph. You know, you do a drop set or a superset, right? You hit your 10, and then it's like, nice, now do it again with that much, just a little bit. You know, you're hitting 30 pounds, it's like, nice, now pick up a 20, and then let's go keep repping that out, right? So you really get that sweat on your nonstop. It's like that cardio training. It's like almost hit with resistance training together.
So what about an ectomorph, right? They're trying to put on some muscle, they're struggling, you know, they're showing up to the gym, they're trying to eat as much as possible, still not up.
Yeah.
What do you put them on?
So for sure, definitely, I would say a calorie increase, right? You got to be eating more, especially if you're on the leaner side and you want to be putting on some weight, you know. I would say as an ectomorph, compound exercises are good, right? They utilize, again, compound exercises are good all throughout, but for an ectomorph, I'd probably say compound exercises. It really helps get the most out of the exercises that they're doing. And it, I would say, simply that. Compound exercises, yeah.
Good. What are the top 5 best exercises, right? If you only had to choose 5 exercises to do for the rest of your life, what exercises are these?
Okay, so that's a tough one, because everybody has to realize this, and you need to understand that each exercise and different exercises will work differently with your body versus my body.
Yeah.
So I might be able to do a bench press, and that increases my chest size like crazy. However, somebody else might do it, and it just might not work with their body that way, right? It just couldn't be the insertions, the way that they're doing the exercise, whatever it may be, right? So it's a little subjective. But my top 5 exercises, I do like a bench press. I'm not gonna lie. I do like a conventional barbell bench press. I like the dumbbell bench press as well. I like the big back exercise. You know what I mean? I like that meat saver size. I like it in a nice wide back. I like a crazy back pump. You know, you grow your wings here. I would say something like a landmine row. I really like pull-ups. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with pull-ups. And I also like a bent over row, and using the Smith machine to do a bent over row. Ideal. It's optimal for me.
Smith machine's underrated.
Big time, man. You can use the Smith machine in so many different variations, you know what I mean? And it helps keep that tension throughout the whole exercise. It's solid. It's great.
That's amazing. So pivoting here, I see that obviously we're on a continuous self-development journey.
Big time.
But as of late, I've really seen you on your reading. You know, you've been on your isolation time. I really see that you're pushing, right, to grow in certain areas. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Okay, for sure. You know what? I just realized that there's sometimes, I'm going to speak for myself. I realize that there's just some times and some points where you need to have solitude. You need to step away from, you know, your things that you do on a regular basis, right? So I'm working, I've got clients every day. I'm continuously both giving energy and taking energy, you know what I mean? And I didn't realize, at some point it catches up to you. But you learn that, through your work. So realizing that transfer of energy constantly was really, I guess, taking a toll on me. But I didn't realize until like my fatigue was kicking in and I felt kind of imbalanced. So it's like, you know what, let me take a step back. Let me take some solitude. Let me just take some time to myself. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's what you've been seeing.
So what are you doing to charge up, to charge your batteries and really restore that energy?
So what I want to start doing, something that I've tried to start implementing is just grounding. So going into like a park, getting into the grass and just taking your shoes and socks off and just kind of walking and just sitting and just touching the ground. I think that really just levels you. It helps. It does things that you don't even really know, but I just know that it's good for me. You know what I mean? That reading, and then literally there's sometimes where I'll just be in the park, I'll be reading, and then I'll just put the book down and I'll just sit there in silence. You know what I mean? And just like look at the view or just breathe, meditation, jumping from breathing to meditation right away. I think meditation is super important. I've been doing it for honestly, it was since COVID. And those things are the main goals that I do.
How do you meditate?
I started guided. I used, not sponsored, but Headspace. Not sponsored yet. I think you'll get some sponsors.
Yeah, why not?
In due time. But I used Headspace to start me off. They were super easy when it comes to guided. There'd be a lesson on anxiety. There would be a lesson on mental clarity, whatever it may be. And they do guided meditations to help you get through it, and you can pick your times. You can do a 3-minute meditation, you can do a 5-minute. But yeah, so I started with that, and then I progressed to sometimes where I would just do it with nothing, just unguided, just myself, just breathing, focusing on my presence, breathing. And then I also jump on YouTube sometimes here and there, and I'll do like a guided one. I like Joe Dispenza. I've been looking into him a lot recently, and I like the things that he talks about. So I would do like a guided Joe Dispenza on YouTube. Clutch.
Amazing. What book are you reading right now?
I am on the last page. I'm a slow reader. Anybody who follows me, they know I've been reading The Way of the Superior Man for the last like 1-2 months. I just read slow. I read in like intervals. There'll be like a week where I'm like, I want to read, and I'll just bang through most of the book. And I read like only, I'd say like 10 pages, maybe just under that a day, whatever I feel right. I'll open the book. I could read 1 page and be like, I'm good for the day. You know what I mean? Or I'll read 20 pages and I'll be like, I'm good. So it all depends. But yeah, The Way of the Superior Man is what I'm reading.
So you're on the last page?
I'm on the last page of it. I literally open it and it's just the last page. It's one like paragraph, and the title, it's like, I think 51. Like they go in the book. There's lessons, I guess you could say, like 1, 2, 3. So I think 51 is the last one. And I'm just there staring at it. I got to finish it today.
What's like your main takeaways from the book?
Man, I think that book is game. I think that is game for young men, especially who are looking to, not even us, women too. Just people who want to learn a little bit more about themselves, find a little bit more depth, and open themselves up to ideas that you wouldn't typically think about. You know what I mean? It gives you those ideas and those thoughts.
Like what?
There's a plethora. There's 51.
So let's put on. Give me one.
Shoot.
It's not like, like it's really stuck with you.
One that, oh man, they're all like flying in.
I know they have to go one thing and they're just like, they're all flying at me.
What would I say is like one that I really like to take a step back and take as game? I think just the way that it teaches, there's some lessons in there generally that just teach men how to approach women in situations. Now, it's not to say that, I think his name is David Beta, the guy who made the book, is to say that he is like the one who knows it all. But what he does speak about in terms of dealing with women, how to handle women, I think it really resonates with me. So I would say the way he says how to approach a situation, you know what I mean? How to act like a superior man, how to hold yourself in a situation maybe where it's tense, you know what I mean? How to ravish a woman, you know what I mean? The things that he talks about in that sense, I would say is super intriguing. It definitely resonates with me.
Yeah.
Like the car thing is a big one. I remember I drove a Ferrari one time.
Sick.
And I was like, yeah, this Like I'd like this, you know what I mean? Just to see that one, look, I'm doing it, you know what I mean? By whatever means, I had my boy who let me drive it, but just to feel it, you know what I mean? To experience it, it's like, yeah, okay, noted.
100%. Like basically when you get behind the wheel, it's like when you're in it next, you know exactly what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What are some goals you got right now?
So currently, I want to really just take off as a personal trainer. I want to be, and I will be, Toronto's like trainer.
Let's go.
Toronto's trainer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want to be like, go on Instagram, search up a trainer in Toronto, in the GTA area. Like I want to be that face that comes up. I might not be your cup of tea, you know, and you may not want to train with me. That's fine. There's a million other trainers. You know what I mean? And that's completely fine. I love that. I want to see everybody grow, you know? But I want to be that person.
What's that? It's
going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of genuine hard work, and investment in myself and investment in my clients. Really just driving results, both for myself and for my clients. Having results, testimonials. I got actually one cook, and I told him I would shut him out on the podcast. My one of my hardest working clients, they all work hard. But one of them, he is just about 6 months in, 6.5 months, and he's lost like 80 pounds.
Let's go.
The amount of compliments, I even seen it, like with people that he knows, who he sees out. He says he goes out every day now, and he's like, there's not a day that I don't get a compliment from somebody who I haven't seen in a while, from somebody, even like his parents, you know what I mean? And it's one thing to notice results, you know, from, oh, I haven't seen you in a month. And then you see that person after a month and you're like, oh shit, you gained weight, or you lost weight, or you look bigger, right? People who are noticing your results on a day-to-day basis, who see you on a day-to-day basis, that's big.
That's huge.
That's big, you know? So yeah, so just like really driving results, just making sure my clients are getting what they want from my experience that I give them, and that's it, man.
That's the mental we give them. So that's a big goal, right? And that's like your career, and you know, in the fitness space. What's like another like personal goal?
Stay more consistent with my good habits, breaking bad habits. Not bad habits, I guess, just breaking habits and making more new and productive habits. Continuously reading, taking more time to myself throughout the week as I am now, meditation on a daily basis, these kind of things, versus breaking up old not bad habits, like I said again, but just habits. You know, maybe going out 2 times a week. Maybe I can drop that down to 1, or maybe I can only do it like I said. I went out last night. You know what I mean? There's like that life part. Like I still gonna live my life, you know? I have a birthday party. I'm a close friend. I want to go out, celebrate. We're gonna do that. I'm not gonna think about it. I'll eat what I want. I'll enjoy myself. But as soon as the next day comes, I'm back in. I'm dialed. I'm working again. So yeah, just making like good, consistent habits. Those are my current goals.
Amazing. All right. So usually people start the podcast, right, and ask about your backstory, your origin.
Right.
I like to do that kind of a little bit later in the conversation.
For sure. Okay.
So, you know, for the people that don't know you, like, who's Isiah? How'd you come up, and how'd you get here today?
Jeez, okay. Well, it's like the whole. What do you say? Where do you start? I mean, for myself, I would say I'm Isiah. I am born and raised in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm half Greek, half Jamaican. A great cool mix for now. I think there's a lot of mixes. I'm gonna be a little bit more regular the next, like, you know, there's a lot of mixes now. But right now I'm cooler. Singing. Yeah, I'm a personal trainer. I've been training myself for the last 7-8 years. I have been training professionally for the last 2.5 years.
Which part is Jamaican? Which part is Greek?
My dad is Jamaican. My mom is Greek.
Yeah. How'd they meet?
How did they meet? They met through just like the area growing up together. They had like
Canada.
Yeah, here. Oh, they had some mutual friends, and I guess they ended up just meeting up together and stuff.
Oh, cool.
I was young. My mom had me when she was really young, so I had young mom. She went off. She was working. She was doing school. I was brought up and raised for a big part by my grandparents. Like I would say to the core, like my grandparents really helped keep my foundation up while my mom, you know, went off to work, and I guess while my dad did his thing too. That was a big part of my youth, my childhood.
You ever been back? like to Jamaica?
I've been to Greece and Jamaica both once. I've been to Jamaica. Jamaica I went to like 2 years ago. And Greece I haven't gone to since I was 4. I was 4 years old when I went to Greece.
That's like a dream destination for
like now I need to.
Yeah, no, I haven't been. I've been to a couple different countries in Europe, but yeah, next time I head up Europe, Greece.
And you see the clips and everything like that, and it doesn't even do it justice, you know. And fortunately enough for me, like I've actually been able to learn the language. So I went through the whole Greek school. I did all that. Any Greek person who knows, like they know they went to that Saturday school and they did their lessons. I don't know if you've done anything like that, but
what's like a greeting in Greece? Like how do you say it?
Like you'd say like Yasu Tiganis, like hey, how are you?
Yeah, what it again?
Yasu Tiganis.
Actually, it was decent.
It's like Yasu Tiganis, you know. Hey, how are you? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that.
That's amazing. Which part of Greece do you know? Because I only know about like Santorini and Fegi,
the island.
Like I'm sure there's like a whole nother part of it.
There's Greece is just broken up into so many different parts, and you know what? I'm not even gonna get into it because geographically, I'm not inclined. Let's just say that. Like I know my grandmother's from Spade, like Spartans, and you know what I mean, like Athens, right? So she's from like those areas. And my grandfather's from a place called Tripoli. Like I know that as much. If you ask me, like where in Greece is that north? So that was the eastern way. Yeah, like
that's all you need to know. They're pretty like I can say that. Like
I could get away with a conversation. You know, I could walk away and like don't ask me anything else. You know. Yeah, that's what I would say.
So, what were you in high school? Like, what would other people say about you?
You know what? In high school, I wouldn't say I was the same person. I definitely say I went through like large growth spurts through high school. Starting in high school, grade 9 to 12, obviously here, I was definitely a lot more shy. I was shy. I went through big bouts of social anxiety to the point where like I felt like completely anxious in buses. I didn't feel comfortable talking. There was times where I would like, I have this one distinct vivid memory. I was in the bus and it was packed. It was like one of the older buses too. So it was like tight, you know, and everybody was in there and it was hot. And I felt so like uncomfortable that even though it was hot, I actually like zipped myself up into my jacket and I just like basically hid myself up to my eyes because I just felt so like uncomfortable because there were so many people and I thought everyone was judging me, whatever it was, you know what I mean? Like that was like the mental battle that I was fighting through high school. So I did that. And then I really just realized that there needs to be some sort of change, right? And nothing changes if nothing changes. I don't know who made that quote, but I'm going to just take that. So I was like, I need to start doing something. So I started working. I would go into grocery stores. I'd go into like the metro by the area and I'd just talk to people. I'd force myself into those uncomfortable positions where I would generally just be like, I'm not talking to that. That's easy to do. I could just, you know, that's what I want. That was my comfort zone, right? So I forced myself to have like little conversations here and there, and through those situations and through those pushes that I gave to myself, I was able to kind of overcome that. Yeah, that was me in high school for sure. Then I came into my shell first year, second year, out of high school, and then I started getting more comfortable. You know, I started finding like some sort of style that I liked, and I felt more of me, and that's when I started really just upwards trajectory.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you found like the self-development journey. What was like the starting point of that? Like, because I just sharing here for me.
Yeah.
After high school, I was taking like a year off to take some extra courses, work, and all of that. And in that time, you know, I pretty much got presented like a business opportunity, but one person gave me Rich Dad Poor Dad. And at 18 years old, I hadn't read a book that was outside of anything in high school, like a textbook. And I read that and got me back into reading, got me understanding like business development. Obviously, it takes years to manifest a lot of these lessons, naturally, but it was vital. And I remember that was like, you know, a kickstart to a self-development journey. Obviously, your first time in the gym and taking it seriously is also a kickstart, you know, to that journey. But in that sense, that really took me in that direction. So what was that thing for you that kind of set you off on that path?
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah. I didn't know that about yourself, so it's good to know. You liked Rich Dad Poor Dad? I haven't read that book yet.
It there's some like really cool key lessons. Is the reason why it's like one of the #1 business books of all time. So yeah, I really like it. I think everyone should read it and understand the concepts of it. Or you can even get the like the cliff notes on it, right? By reading summaries or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So, but back to what you had asked me, the thing that really set me forward was just, I think, just coming into just like that whole general process of going from like the kind of, with my friends, I wasn't anxious. I was cool, comfortable, calm, collected, whatever, enjoyed myself, was more of myself. But getting out of that discomfort, getting through the social anxieties.
And did someone tell you like go talk to people, this, that, or you just innately felt like there was something you needed to do?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think I remember going to bed one night and just feeling like completely anxious. Like I felt like I was in just constant fight or flight the whole time. And I was like, there's something wrong here. Like, what is going on? And like, I'm a young high school kid, like, what do I know better? But my sons are all like, why do I feel like I'm in fight or flight mode, And I remember reading or going before bed, I was like, jumped on my phone and I searched up like what I found it was. Like, so I was like over here self-diagnosing myself. I'm like, it's got to be this. And I saw a video that kind of told me to do that. I don't remember who or what it was, but I watched that video and I was like, okay, I'll try it. So it was a little bit of the video, but also something in myself told me to just, push yourself to change. So just that whole process right there was really what kickstarted me to my upward trajectory.
Absolutely.
Continue that.
Usually taking the first step is the hardest, right? And you're here on the other side.
Yeah, big time. And
yeah, it's beautiful. So this has been an amazing conversation. We're definitely going to do a part 2.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
My first one, and I'm like, my boy Ace right here, bro, he's starting something good.
You're dropping so many gems, bro, and it's been an honor. But before we wrap up, what's one thing you want to leave people with?
That quote I stole earlier, I'm going to say it again. Nothing changes if nothing changes, regardless of what it is. You want to see those results in the gym, you got to change something, change your habits, change your ways, put yourself into a position of, do what you need to do. Act like you need to act in order to get those results. Because obviously, whatever you're doing right now is not getting you what you need. So change your ways and change your path so that you can reach the goals that you want to reach.
Appreciate you, bro,
brother.